And I'm going to welcome all of you to the webinar, and just say that this is brought to you by the letters I and T, BOG. So if any of you guys are not a member of the IT Business Owners Group, I encourage you to join. It costs nothing, and all I need is your Facebook email address to be a member. We've got a ton of members. We've actually got 24 or more vendors now that are given active discounts for the group, including some vendors like AppRiver, Autotask. The list really does go on. So if anybody is interested in joining the group, all I need is your Facebook email address, or you can send me an email to my email address on the screen to take care of that. I'm going to introduce Ray. He is our speaker today. Ray is the owner of Orsini IT, OITVOIP, and OIT Cloud. And OITVOIP is a national provider of unified communications services. They're built on a carrier-class geo-redundant platform housed in the best carrier hotels in the country. And unlike other carriers who are driven by sales, OITVoIP is a company that is built and run by engineers. They're 100% operated in the United States. Live operator is going to answer each call. Today's webinar, he's going to teach you about the platform and teach you how to position VoIP in general to your clients so you can draw a repeatable income, hopefully with OITVoIP. And like I said before, there will be a Q&A session, so if you guys could either hold all questions or just put them into the chat, that would be super. Without further ado, I will let Ray take it away.
Hey guys, I think first and foremost, I want to say happy birthday to Steve, because we bust Steve's chops on a regular basis, and he always takes it, he always takes it in stride, and he is an active member of all the communities we're in, and we're very happy and very lucky to have him. So, I want to say happy birthday to my good buddy Steve.
Thank you, Ray.
Absolutely. So let me click on, now that we know that this is, now that we know that everything's being recorded, I'll go ahead and share out my screen. Should be good. Okay, you guys should be able to see the OITVoIP login now. Is that, you guys good on that?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So I'll give a little bit of very brief introduction. Steve covered most of it, but most of you guys know me already from Discord, Reddit, Slack, OIT Ray, if you can't figure it out. I've been doing this for a very long time, been doing some form of commercial IT for the last 25 years. I've been doing network engineering for about 20 years. That's where my degree is, that's where my certifications are, and then I've been doing voice for a little over 15 years. Everything came out of the IT stuff, meaning I know what you guys go through. I'm an MSP. That's what I do on a daily basis. That's all day, every day. That's what you see behind me. That's what we do. As you guys have seen, you work with different vendors throughout the course of your business. Some are better than others. It wasn't too long ago that I realized we kept calling other vendors, and whoever it may be, they either took too long to respond, you got the voicemail hell, you got the accents you couldn't understand, or even worse, you got the scripts where they weren't listening to you, they were just reading through a script. And then with all that, it still took too long to resolve the problem. So I figured if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. So we created OITVoIP and decided to bring it all in-house. We've done a couple different iterations. Thanks to actually my trainer is here in the webinar today, but I got my Elastic Certified Engineer certification. I'm 3CX Basic and Advanced Engineer, CCIE Voice, which doesn't exist anymore, and a few others. It's a laundry list of certifications. The point is, I've tried everything, so I know what's out there. I know what I believe works best, and that's what I built on. It's always in the best interest of the customer. And that's truthfully, it's not a sales pitch. I'm not a sales guy. I'm an engineer. I believe all salespeople are full of it. I'll try to keep it PG. People know I'm not. But all salespeople is rainbows and unicorns till you sign on the dotted line, then they're gone. You don't do that. So that's how the birth of OITVoIP came around. And went through a few different platforms, landed on NetSapiens, which is a geo-redundant carrier class platform. It's on the same level as BroadSoft, Sonos, Cisco. It's what big boys are using, and we take advantage of it and give you all the ooey gooey goodness of VoIP to small businesses, which is fantastic. I have a small outline I want to go through with you guys, and then we will open it up to Q&A. The reason I do these things is I've learned far more from you guys than I do from just talking. So I do want to hear what's important to you guys, because it does help me create and evolve the product to better suit you guys. No, I do not want to do CCIE collab. Not a chance in the world. But I am studying DC if anybody wants a study partner. So I want to get my DC next. So OITVOIP, like I said, it's built on NetSapiens, which is basically a 7-layer dip. The foundation is Asterisk, which is fantastic. Anybody that's used Asterisk, FreePBX, Elastics, PBX in a flash, Incredible PBX, and the 14 billion other derivations of it knows that Asterisk is awesome. But Asterisk is not scalable. It's not highly available. It's not geo-redundant. And it's not end-user friendly. You do have to know what you're doing to play around with it. So NetSapiens came around. They started adding on to it little by little. They added FreeSwitch. They added some session border controllers. They added some load balancing, geo-redundancy. So you're using Asterisk for the call features, but the actual management of it, the negotiation, the setup, the load balancing, all the other stuff is many layers, configuration, end-user portals, is iterations on top of that. So as I was saying, NetSapiens takes advantage of a lot of these things, which is fantastic. And that's what I ended up on. I've done the reseller things. I've done the core dial. I've done this. I've looked at star to star. I spoke today with White Label Communications just because I want to see what's out there. Talked to Blue IP. I'm partners through TCG with Comcast. I work directly with AT&T and Birch Communications as a voice engineer on some of their sales products. Meaning I know what's out there. So I don't want you guys to think this is OIT VoIP specific. I am going to show you the product. I am going to show you some of the wonderful things about it. But I'm going to give you sales techniques, strategies, pitfalls, and red flags to look out for so that whatever your poison of choice is, I'm going to make you profitable. The goal is that if you can be profitable and do it, hopefully you'll come back to me either selling my products directly or become a white label partner or maybe engage me in some voice engineering. I've done all of that. Happy to do it. Nothing I'm going to tell you is specific to OIT VoIP. But with that said, we'll go ahead and start off with how to sell VoIP. Who's the ideal customer? Truthfully, the ideal customer is anybody that's distributed. Anybody, I do say when I'm selling the stuff, anybody with a phone. If you know a business that has a phone, you can sell VoIP. If they have more than one phone, VoIP is even better. If they have more than one office, it's even better. But the point is, anybody with a phone, you can sell VoIP. So there is no bad customer for VoIP. There are a few things you want to look out for, obviously, and we'll go through those, but almost everything can be worked around. Unless you're in a farm somewhere in rural Montana and you have 250 miles between you and the next piece of copper, chances are we can deliver VoIP. And even then, if there's a WISP in the area, we can do it. And if I can do it, means anybody can do it. So, but your ideal customers, when you're positioning VoIP, I like to go after professional offices. I like to go after medical, legal, real estate, title. Why? Because they invest. They invest in their businesses. They invest in their infrastructure, accountants, CPAs, bookkeepers. We all have our gripes about certain verticals, but the truth of the matter is they can't run without voice. They can't run without email. They can't run without computers. And we all know this. That's why we're MSPs. Also, guys, if I talk a little too fast, just let me know in chat. I know I speak and I ramble, so sorry. But the point is, these guys invest in their infrastructure, and if you can prove that you're going to get an ROI, I know we hate to hear that CapEx versus OpEx versus ROI, but those buzzwords do have a place in these sales. If you can show them, hey, we're going to install this product, and unlike that Avaya system you bought 5 years ago that you spent 15 or 20 grand on that's now useless, or unlike that Nortel system that now you can't find anybody that can work on it, we're going to sell you some today. We're not going to sell you hardware. We're going to sell you the product. We're going to sell you the service, and we're going to keep upgrading. Every quarter, we're going to add something new to it, and you're not going to have to invest anything further. You're just going to pay like you were paying your phone bill, okay? That's the biggest catch of selling VoIP. VoIP, what happens is people look at it, and I hear all too often, they say, okay, I'm going to position an NEC DSX system, an NEC DSX80. You can get it for like $1,300 with 5 handsets installed. And they say, well, how do I position that versus, you know, the same 5 handsets if I get a nice T46G from Yealink, and I'll go over the hardware, but I get a nice T46G from Yealink, those things are like 140, 150 a piece, you know, and I got to make sure there's cabling and whatever. How do I position that? If I'm spending $700 in hardware, how do I sell that? Well, you're not selling that. You're selling the voice service, and the hardware is just part of the game. They got to buy hardware regardless. So you need to figure out how to make the math work in your favor. You guys need to learn how to take the math and show the real numbers, because it's really easy to say, well, 2 + 2 is 4. And what's happening is you're missing the other stuff. You're missing the X, Y, and the Z that go into the formula. And I'll go through that. One of the things I like to do is I like to, you know, I'm a math guy, I'm an engineer guy. So one of the things I like to do is I like to sit there and actually show, you know, where the math comes from. And the math's real simple. You know, you take a phone, and let's take Comcast, because Comcast seems to be ubiquitous across the country. So it'll apply to most of you in this webinar. And we'll take Comcast and we'll say you have 10 customers or 10 handsets, right? So you have those 10 handsets. They're going to go with Comcast. Comcast is currently at $39.99 a seat, assuming no bundles or anything else going on. $39.99 for POTS lines. We're doing POTS versus VoIP. Well, those 10 lines are going to be $399, right? And 90 cents or whatever. It's going to be $400 plus taxes, plus fees, and Comcast is great with fees. So is AT&T. Don't forget, that's your Z in that formula. Don't forget those fees that all go in there. But that's just the phone service. That's not including hardware. That's not including if they get that NEC DSX system at $1,300. That's not including if they get the Yealink T48G. That's a badass touchscreen phone with 16 lines. Whatever it is, it's $400 a month. Whatever. So, you know, let's go ahead and take the phone system. Well, you got your NEC DSX, and I said it was $1,300 at 5 phones. Each of the phones is about $150, $100, something like that. So let's go ahead and make it an even $2,000 installed, right? And that's your one-time fee, assuming they never need to make a change ever again. Because if they do, then they need to call the guy back, paying him $125, $150 an hour. If something breaks, they have to replace it unless they have a service contract. Service contracts can be $150 a month easily. That's what we charge for an on-prem system, you know, or $125 an hour for service. Sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time. Not too great. Thank you, Ebony. I'll type slower so maybe it'll clear up. So if they need to make any ads, moves, changes, you know, they're looking at additional cost versus, and let's go ahead and add here the plus taxes and fees. Thanks, VoIP Noob. So if your screen's fuzzy or anything, if I'm typing too quick, just let me know, and you know, I'll make sure I slow down. Absolutely can do a bigger font. That's not a problem at all. Is that better? Cool. Okay. So we have our NEC DSX at $2,000. We have our $150 a month service contract, or $125 an hour. And I'll show you where these things come in so you can I see who the engineers are. So I don't think I can show Notepad++ without actually showing a config I'm working on, because I'm always working on something. So what happens is, not a chance in the world. So what always happens is we forget the stuff. They're going to have holiday greetings they want to change. They're going to want to change their auto attendant. They're going to have new hires and you know, let goes during the year. Well, it's either $150 a month. So at the 12 months, that's what is that, $1,800 a month, a year. So, or they're going to have the $125 an hour. Let's say they do it for Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, and they have 2 changes. So at least you're still talking $600, $700 for the year, assuming 1 hour of service, or $150 a month, $1,800 a year. Either way, you're still talking about a ton of money. So, you know, make sure that's taken into account when you're positioning analog versus VoIP. Now, let's go ahead and go middle of the line. We'll go T46Gs, because I know we have a lot of Yearling fans in here. And let me see. Forms. And we have our T46Gs, which is our Yearling phone. It's a beautiful phone. And I think at this point we're selling them out at $142. I'll tell you right now. I will go over that, how to sell those users with only 2 or 3 lines. But right now our T46G, I'm sorry, is $172. So, and I'm sure you can find it cheaper on Amazon or 888VoIP or Telephony Depot. I don't care where you buy it, honestly. If it's me or somebody else, I want you to make the money on it. The difference is who supports it. But besides that, it doesn't matter. So 172 times 10, you're talking at 1,720. That's your hardware cost. And then you have your 10 seats at, let's do it full price, $24.50 a seat. Times 10 equals $245 a month, times 12. What is that, $24.50 plus another $500. You're talking about $2,900 a year. So there you go. You're talking $2,900 a year, okay, plus a $1,720 initial investment. Still cheaper than that NEC DSX, okay? And we ship out phones ready to go. We don't charge installs. I leave that to you guys. Charge your professional installs, charge your setup, your configuration. I don't care. I don't charge that. But they're paying $245 a month, and they're not paying $399. So I did this backwards on purpose. I have some of you guys asking, well, what happens if they don't have 10 lines? What happens if they have 2 or 3? Well, in telephony, we operate on 2/3 rule. 2/3 of the total number of users is typically how many lines they have. So if they have 10 users, realistically, they have between 5 and 6 lines. We're not talking fax here. We can do fax. I'm not a fan of fax, but yes, we can do it. I'm talking just voice lines because that's really what we're comparing against. Well, okay, so say they have 5 lines. They have 10 users, 5 lines. They can only be on 5 calls at a time with those 10 users. You know, and then they can, and those 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th user can't be on the phone at the same time. They get a busy signal or whatever else happens. That's fine. Well, if my math is correct, 5 times $39.99 is still $200 a month. We're talking $45 more. We are going to have less taxes and fees than that other user, than Comcast, and they're going to get more benefits. How are they going to get more benefits? Because the stuff that we do, I don't even know how that got in there. The stuff that we do, our voice features, are not comparative to what Comcast does. Because with analog lines, you're not getting the entire list of features you would get with VoIP. You're not getting new features coming out every 3 months. You're not getting ads, move, changes that are at no cost. So if you ask me, that $45 a month extra is cheaper than that $125 an hour or that $150 a month service contract. So if I can position 10 users of fully hosted seats at $24.50 and you come out financially ahead, it's easy to see how the scale works. And I have bigger users. I have 700 users single site. I have 1-person users at a single site. The beauty of VoIP is that you can put it anywhere. It doesn't matter. Unlike MSP, where you have a customer that'll have a 1-person office, that is a terrible idea for MSP, unless it's in a perfect situation where the guy never calls you, guy or girl. With VoIP, you don't care. Send them a phone, have them connected, charge your $24.50 a month. You're going to get your percentage for your channel partner, or you're going to sell it white label, and you're going to sit back and collect and not worry about it because it'll be on auto payment. It's a complete reversal of MSP. So, you know, that just wanted to make sure I went over that. Is there any questions? Any questions as far as analog versus VoIP? Because that math really does hold up any way you look at it. One of the questions was asked was that you're not charged for multiple phones. The person asking is is smart because he knows, he's heard me do the sales pitch before. Every product I build, I go after a competitor. I focus on somebody I think has the biggest market share or the best offering or just has the most eyeballs. And I say, how can I beat that competitor? Well, in this case, the most eyeballs is Intermedia. I don't feel that they're the best competitor. I'm not going to talk ill about anybody, but, and everything I say here does apply to Intermedia as well, but they do not have, they do a lot of things I don't agree with as a channel partner program. One of those is they charge extra for, you want to have an extra phone. You want to have an extra, say, mobile device or soft phone or extra phone at your house for your extension. We don't charge extra for any of that. I don't think you should charge extra for any of that. Some of the providers do not. They just give it to you. That's the beauty of VoIP. Anywhere, anytime, that's VoIP. You want to have 4 or 5 phones, you can do it. Sorry for the Michael Bay camera image, but I want you guys to see what I'm talking about. These are the phones I have on my desk, and sorry for the mess, but the point is that, and I have phones at my house doing the exact same thing. I have soft phones on all my laptops and on my cell phone, and forget that it's me. For you, if you did the same thing, you'd be charged 1 seat, $124.50 or one. We'll get into the NFR stuff, but you're not getting charged, and you're not charging the user anymore because that's the beauty of VoIP. Okay, that's the way I think it should be. As far as unlimited minutes, yes, there are fair use clauses in the contracts. Every provider in the world has a fair use clause. It's in the T's and C's, probably in fine print. It's something that I've never breached, unlike I do have a channel partner that showed me RingCentral sent him a bill because he went over 1,000 minutes in 1 month, which I think is ridiculous. They just charged him 20 bucks extra. We don't do that. Our fair use clause is, I think, something like 10,000 minutes per user for local. All of that's included. US 50. Canada, Puerto Rico, included. We don't charge extra for that. There are a few other voice providers that do that. That's something none of the local LECs do that. AT&T, RingCentral, Vonage, they all have some kind of ladder where they charge extra for. AT&T specifically, Comcast, the same thing. You'll see long distance versus local. The real question is, what is long distance? To us, long distance is literally anything outside of North America. For other customers, it's anything outside for other providers, it's anything outside your LATA. We're in Miami-Dade, so Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, and the Keys. Anything outside of that is long distance for an AT&T or for a Comcast. Understand those questions so you can ask when you're comparing different providers. You know, that is one of the important things. Let's see here. I want to make sure I get through this because I do have a tendency to talk, but I want to make sure I get to your questions. And I do have somebody here writing down questions as you guys put them in. Positioning also. Ideal customers, we talked about anybody distributed. That idea that you can have 4, 5, 6 offices and you can call in between the two, that's a very expensive proposition. I've done that. I had a Samsung IDCS 100 system. It cost me 12 grand in my office with 15 people. The other office that I had another 17 people cost me 20 grand. And then to be able to connect the two over the internet cost me another 5 grand. And when I wanted to add voicemail, I only had, now if you're doing the math at home, that's almost 30 people. I'm sorry, it's 32 people. If you're doing the math at home, 32 people, I only had 8 voicemail boxes. And if I wanted to add more, it was another 2 grand. That is ridiculous. Any analog system you get is going to have those limitations. Voice over IP does not. So, you know, make sure you're relaying that information to your customers when you get to distributed environments. Competing against analog, it's just completely off the table. Analog can't do it. Your digital systems cannot do it the way that voice over IP can. So now you're competing against RingCentral, Vonage, Comcast, AT&T. Well, RingCentral, Vonage, and AT&T are all BroadSoft based. And Birch also. Anybody that's configured BroadSoft knows it's a royal pain in the butt. You have the idea of enterprises and organizations calling between the two is ridiculous, and any extra features you want to have are extra. It's not the way I like VoIP to be. It's why I personally don't sell it. And any customers that I have that have it, we move away. If you've had RingCentral, you know they have amazing apps and amazing integrations, but making changes is kind of ridiculous. So, you know, and I say that so you understand the different markets that you're going after. One of the other objections I come across is, well, voice over IP is too high tech. Yeah, so is my cell phone, so is my computer, so is my drop cam or my Nest or my Ring doorbell. No kidding. The difference is that, you know, we're taking better advantage, because if you're telling me I'm going to pay $39.99 for an analog line and I'm going to get all these amazing features, yeah, charge me a luxury car if you're going to give me a luxury car, but don't charge me $40 a line if you're going to give me a Yugo. I know somebody in chat's going to say they have a Yugo, whatever. But the point is, you're positioning VoIP. If you're charging less and giving more. So if you don't want to be the guy that uses all those features, at least be the guy or girl, sorry, that's paying less and still getting more. That's a win. So the whole high-tech argument, you know, you're going to hear some people that say it's confusing or whatever. They're not asking you to say, oh, but you don't have to do this. They're just asking to make sure you're going to support them. We support 100%. We're 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. Eastern time, so we can support everybody coast to coast. If you're a white label partner, we provide this technical training and the sales training so you can support it yourself, and we provide tier 3. If you're a channel partner, you have the option to support it yourself or push it to us, have the customer contact us directly. It's the same thing. We don't charge for support. That's what they're really saying when they're saying, oh, it's too high tech for me. But the truth of the matter is, everybody in this world uses stuff that's high tech nowadays. There's no getting around it. Cost we went over. Hosted versus on-prem. Well, I showed you the math. Hosted versus on-prem is not a question. If you get to larger environments, maybe you get to something that's like 100 seats, 200 seats, maybe. But typically those customers that are that big, they have high management costs, high operational costs. They worry about redundancy. They worry about scalability. They worry about distributed environments, all of which are addressed by hosted. So even then, I'm telling you, even then, you can position VoIP and it works out. So that's typically how you position it. You want to go after, you know, the important things for the customers. You want to talk to them and say, this is going to save you money. This is going to give you more features. This is going to take less pain. Let's put less pain in your life. We're going to take it away and we're going to solve all your problems so that the customer doesn't have to worry about those things. And when I say it, I'm not saying it from a sales perspective. I'm saying it from an engineering perspective. I'm telling you this because I know it works. So infrastructure requirements. VoIP is hard, right? You put VoIP on the public internet, call quality is going to suck, and you're going to have static and drop calls, and the internet's going to go out, and VoIP is horrible. Wrong. Like anything else, VoIP is the problem with VoIP is that, unlike analog, where the telco takes care of all the back end for you, and they're literally just giving you a plug in and it works, VoIP is relying on you to make sure you have a lot of the infrastructure in place. Now, thankfully, static is another one. You know, thankfully, I'm talking to a room of people that are technically savvy, technically oriented, that I can walk through and tell you how to massage the network and how to put the right things in place so that you can go ahead and get that best quality of service. Quality of service is not hard. It's just like anything else. You have to have a process. You have to make it repeatable. You don't have to do VLANs. You don't have to do isolated networks. You don't have to do Cat6 cabling. You can do VoIP, and with commodity hardware, if you take the right precautions, and you can make it work. I have VoIP working on over Cat3 on 10 megabit connections, spanning hundreds of feet. Now, that's not an ideal situation, but the way I do it is because I walk into it and I plan. I look and I assess and I develop a plan that'll work for them. That user that's currently over 6 or 7 distributed buildings that's running 10 megabit Cat3 is actually, we're taking advantage of a product called FiBridge that they were too big. This was a historical landmark. It's First Baptist Church of West Palm Beach, enormous set of buildings, legacy infrastructure. It would have been almost 200 grand to sit there and rewire everything. Not possible. We ripped out everything, left the Cat 3. We used a product called FiBridge, and then what we did is we turned that Cat 3 into 10 megabit Ethernet and did PoE over it, and it worked. And it also created a backup network, and the VoIP is flawless. There is, as they say, a jack for every Jill. You just have to know, you just have to be smart, and you just have to be smart about it and plan accordingly. So what are the requirements? Well, with VoIP, we want to make sure that we have 100K per call, per active call. I plan around how many total users we're going to have. So in that 10 user environment times 100K, I want to make sure that we're going to have 1 megabit upload and download. Why? Not that they're all going to be 10 users on the phone at the same time, but why not give yourself some buffer? Be smart about it. So because we all tend to operate in the margins a little bit. If I said it was 50K per user, somebody would try to do this on a 500 meg connection or on a 500K connection, and I wouldn't guarantee it. They'd be fighting each other on it. So I say plan for 100K, plan for all the users, and then you can buffer accordingly. Makes life easier. 9.5 times out of 10, it works out perfectly. Cabling, plain old Cat5e works great. You do not have to have isolated networks. I don't even do isolated networks typically if it's less than 50 or 60 users. So the codec by default, Jason, is we actually run 729 by default. We support 722. We support 711. Why wouldn't one isolate the networks is very simple. It's not necessary. I'm not saying that you don't want to do it in best case scenario, but not every customer is going to have managed switches. Not every customer is going to be solely managed switches. We've all seen those where you have another little baby switch after the managed switch just to get a few extra ports in there. Ideally, yeah, of course. Ideal environment, I want to have a separate fiber connection for my voice with class of service going back to the data center, with PoE going across, running on 6A. And of course, now realistically, and on managed switches or physically isolated switches, even better, the reality is it doesn't work that way. The reality is you can get your Unify switch or your Netgear switch or your TP-Link or whatever you want to use, and it will work. When we talk about isolation or VLANing, ideally it's for environments where you have bandwidth congestion or you have competition. You're doing major file uploads and downloads, or you have switches that are having buffering issues, or you have switches that are there's some kind of contention on the line. In that case, then yes, in that particular case, plan accordingly. Do your VLANs, do your DSCP markings, and your prioritization. But I'm telling you, 9.5 times out of 10, it's not necessary. For that half a time that it is necessary, you should go to your favorite VoIP vendor and make sure that they have some kind of write-up that they make public to you so that you know how to use their customer's firewall and what VoIP settings you need to have in place. These are things we do all the time. These are things we recommend to all the customers. You don't have to do it, but we do it because you want to put yourself in the best possible scenario. And typically, if they have a SonicWall or a Meraki or Sophos or whatever else in place, they all support some kind of bandwidth management. They all support some kind of QoS or however they want to term it for the device. These docs are absolutely shared. This is why I said your VoIP vendor should be sharing this stuff. This website, docs.orsinit.com, is publicly available. It's our internal KB, and I'll put it up as well. I could probably make that a little bit bigger. So we do make it available. Obviously, not all of our write-ups are in there, but how to do almost everything is in there. And, any of my VoIP partners will tell you, when they shoot me an email or they call support and they ask how to do something, 9 times out of 10, I'll probably do a write-up and send you the write-up. And if I don't send you the write-up, I'll do something along the lines of, let's see here. I'll do something along the lines of send you an actual video of how to do this. A lot of these people have seen me send videos, which is kind of cool. Let's see here. This is an example of one of the videos I'll send off to you so you know exactly what you want to do. I will put the link in chat. The link is docs.orsinit.com. There you go. Thanks, guys. This is one of the examples of setting, I think it was an auto answer or something to that effect. But we do these videos all the time, and we do the write-ups, how to do it. So, you know, that's the idea that, you know, we're sharing this stuff. So if you want to know how to do Grandstream overrides, you know, or you want to know how to do call parking for Grandstream, well, there you go. This is exactly what you need to do. You know, we make it so that you guys can be profitable, and that's something any of your voice partners should do. Doesn't matter if it's RingCentral, AT&T, Vonage, they should be providing you something like this so that you know how to sell it. So, you know, if you want to manually configure a Yealink phone, not a problem. Thanks, Steve. It's your birthday, so I won't say what I want to say. But yeah, and like I said, anything that you guys want done, you know, I'm happy to add to it. The codecs, I said, 729 we start, 722, 711. We do support, we actually do adaptive codec modification during the call. As far as I understand, RingCentral is the only other one that does this, where during the call, if we become bandwidth constrained, you'll see the call drop from 729 to 722 or 711. You know, probably 729 to 711 if it's bandwidth constrained. But, and the reason is because, and the reason is because, you know, we want that call to be the best possible quality. Marissa, can you wave, please? Dan DeMaio doesn't believe you're a real person. So, so that's OIT Marissa, if some of you talked to her in chat. So yeah, so docs, codecs, all wonderful things. The switches, I'm agnostic when it comes to the switches. My personal preference today is the Unify stuff. I think it's pretty awesome just for management. I was using Netgear before that. Netgear ProSafe is a good line of switches, not routers. The routers are absolute garbage. I'm going to be shipping 5 of them to somebody in Discord just because I have them extra. I refuse to sell them to a customer. I do have on TP-Link. I do have either one is fine, Quinn, Unify or Edge Switch. I like the Unify for the management stuff, for the cloud management. We do host a cloud management Unify server, and it's pretty awesome. You know, I think it's amazing for MSP. I agree with Chris. It's just it makes it so much better, so much easier to manage, and they have the VLAN tagging, and they have the QoS and the DSCP marking and the forwarding and all the fun stuff. But the point is, switches don't really make a difference in typical environments. So yeah, that is one of the benefits. You know, we get these alerts that, hey, your AP went down, and we can call the customer and say, hey, we noticed your wireless is offline, and the customer say, wow, that's amazing. Makes us all look great. It's one of the reasons I like Uptime Robot and some of the other stuff. I think they're cool tools. So let's see. As far as the firewalls, I don't care. We're agnostic. It's not that I don't care. I do. There are some firewalls I do like. We're a Sonic Wall house, but you know, Sophos, Meraki, non-UTMs like, you know, the Edge routers. I do use Edge routers a lot. You know, they're fine. We do have a list of routers with known issues. As you can see, it's a small list of the ones that we say stay the hell away from. And then we have a longer list of ones of, you know, what to do, go in and make certain changes. But this longer list does work. You know, and as we learn about different products and see how they interact, we test and we put it up there so everybody has the benefit of it. You know, again, these are docs that your voice vendor should be providing you. As far as the cabling, Cat5e, go for it. If you're under, you know, 50 feet and you don't care about a 10 meg connection, you can use Cat3 if you really, really want to. You know, so that's about that. Besides that, infrastructure requirements, everything else is pretty golden. So the big question is, what about the phones? What phones should you sell? Well, you guys saw briefly my doc of the phone comparison, and we update this pretty often. Obviously, there's a lot of different phones out there. These are the ones we sell. I need to add the GXP 2135 to this. It's a pretty cool phone, which I have here somewhere. Let's see here. This is the GXP 2135. Oh, that's a GXP 2130. Ha ha ha. This is the GXP 2135. This is what we're standardizing on today. And the reason is it has 8 buttons here across the top. It's a little hard to see. These buttons will allow you to do on-screen BLF and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Actually, I'll do one better. Hold on, Steve. So the GXP 2135, I like it a little better only because it has all the extra features that that the other phones do. But it also includes the power adapter. It includes the wall mount bracket. It includes a ton of stuff that most of the other vendors like Yealink charge extra for. And then price versus feature, they're under $100. It's kind of a no-brainer. So that's kind of my go-to phone. My everyday phone is the Yealink T48G because I bought, this is the GXP 2135. But the Yealink T48G, that's my everyday, that's my touchscreen. I think it's like 32 DSS keys or 26 DSS keys, which is on-screen BLF keys. It's a pretty badass phone. But, you know, the idea is that there's a jack for every Jill. BLF are the buttons on the side. So if I can get back to that screen. BLF are these keys. If you guys can see, busy Lampfield, thank you. So when somebody's on the phone or when somebody's available, they're going to show you that status as they go. Some providers, some phones don't have them. You know, the ones that do it on screen are a little nicer, obviously, but there's other phones that just have it on the side. You could see here with this model of Grandstream I don't actually sell, but it does it with the paper buttons here on the side. You know, there's different ways to do it, but the idea is that you can see the presence of the person while they're on the phone, which is fantastic. It is something that we include for everybody. We don't charge extra for this feature. Some providers do, especially BroadSoft. This is the Grandstream GXP 2130. You see it has the paper buttons, the paper with the buttons on the side. That's the older model. So, but either way, we provide this list just with a comparison of what features each one has, if they have a color screen, if they have Bluetooth, if they have dedicated BLF buttons, which is what I was talking about here, if they can be expanded, if they allow PoE, all that stuff. We include this with our channel partners and our white label partners. Even if you're not a partner of ours, if you want this document, just shoot me an email. It's ray@OrsiniIT.com, and I'll go ahead and forward you whatever docs we have so you can use it, so you can understand it. One of the things we do with our channel partner program, I don't care where you get the hardware from. You want to do eBay, you want to do Amazon, you want to buy it from us, I don't care. We support over, what is it, Dan? We support over like 70 or 80 different phones right now. So, you know, and it includes Polycom, Cisco, Grandstream, Yealink, obviously. And if you notice, Cisco's not on here. I don't think they're worth it for the price. But I will say that I personally do not buy from Amazon or eBay when it comes to phones. And the reason is that many of the manufacturers will not honor warranty. Polycom will not honor warranty if it comes from a non-distributor. Also, some phones come with an SSL certificate like Polycom. They can only be done in the warehouse, meaning if you buy it and it doesn't have the certificate, you cannot send it back to Polycom to get it. And if you don't have it, many voice providers, including us, will not work with it. So be careful. That happens a lot when you buy a phone that was meant for out of country and it's a little bit cheaper and they sell it here. You kind of get stuck with it. We will allow you to provision it and we'll help the user with their voice service, but you will not, obviously we won't honor on our RMA or anything like that. The good news is I'll show you who my distributors are. I have great distributors. You can buy from them if you want to. The difference is if you buy from us, we'll ship pre-configured to you or the customer, so you can go and charge that professional install fee or whatever else you want. So we will get to features, but I wanted to, make sure I go over the infrastructure requirements and the different phones and stuff that you can do. So then it comes to planning, VoIP planning. So yeah, call parking sucks. Absolutely, call parking sucks. I hate call parking. We do support it 100%. I do try to talk every single customer out of it every single time. We'll go over the VoIP features. We'll go over the VoIP terminology, briefly, obviously, but call parking sucks. So call parking is, for those that don't know, it's when you put a call on hold, similar to the old analog technology where you have a line 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you put a caller on hold on line 1. Anybody else in the organization can pick up line 1 and answer it. Yeah, key system, like Chris said, that is the official term for it on an analog system or a legacy system, or these hybrids. I hate call parking. I truly and honestly hate call parking with a passion. So, but we do support it. We emulate it, but we do support it. So picking the right phone. How do you pick the right phone? So, oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, I told you I got long-winded. I'll jump forward to this. The stuff that's important to you guys, SIP, voice over IP, it's the exact same thing. BLFs, we talked about, busy lamp fields. We have the different types of phones that you can email me and I'll send this to you. I do want to open it up to Q&A, and I apologize we didn't get to troubleshooting. Anybody that wants to talk to me separately, we'll talk about troubleshooting. But I want to go over the channel partner programs. I want to go over the special promos for you guys, and I want to go open up the Q&A. I'm willing to stay past 2 o'clock or past 3 o'clock, depending on what's available. But I'm open to you guys. I know I'm long-winded. So as far as the programs, we have 2 kinds of programs. We have channel partner and white label. Channel partner is, and actually let me get this up on the screen, the feature set that you should be asking for any of your VoIP providers. Yes, I can talk for days. There's no question about that. So the channel partner program is real easy. You sign a document saying you're not going to misrepresent my company, and that's it. You identify sales leads. You send somebody over to me. And you either close the deal or we close the deal, and you immediately get one-time MRR up front, meaning they pay their first bill. If their bill is $245 a month, you get a check for $245 or direct deposit, and you get 15 to 20% monthly residuals. The 15 to 20% is depending on your overall gross recurring revenue with me. I don't do the intermediate way where your first 2,500 is one tier and the next 20. Screw that. If you have 2,500 with me, you're going to get 18%. If you have less than that, you're going to get 15%. If you have more than $5,000, you're going to get 20% of the total of the life of the company. Meaning that customer resigns, that customer upgrades, that customer downgrades, your percentage will keep coming in. Not every partner program does that. Comcast is notorious for trying to upsell your customer, sign them on a new contract, your residual is gone. I don't do that. I think that's the scummiest thing on the planet. So less than 2,500, 18%, 2,500 to $49.99, and 20% greater than 5K. So it's in the chat room for all of you guys to have. Plus at least one-time MRR. Sometimes I do 2-time MRR. Sometimes I do 3 times MRR. It depends on how we're doing sales-wise and what I come up with at 3 in the morning. It happens a lot. And that's basically it. You want to sell the hardware? Sell the hardware. You want to buy from me and resell it? Do it. We don't charge setup fees. We don't charge onboarding, porting, configuration, first-time setup, whatever BS. We don't charge that. So you want to charge a professional installation, go for it. I'll ship you the phones. Most of my vendors, most of my channel partners charge $250, $350 for a professional install. Go for it. I don't care. I want you to make money. The point is that you keep sending me business, you keep making money, I keep making money, it's a win. For those that want to step up to the white label program, I'll go over briefly. We do a fully branded VoIP portal, a fully branded billing portal. Notifications are from you. We give in-depth sales and technical training. We provide the taxation engine. It's not a minor thing, though, to be a telco or to be a reseller. That's why I don't recommend it for everybody. Most of the time, I recommend the channel partner program, but we do have a white label program. There is an onboarding fee. I just want to make sure you guys are aware that it's out there, but unless you're willing to take on the reporting and that kind of stuff, I'm going to recommend you stick with channel partner. Anybody that wants to do white label, approach me separately and we'll go over that. The kind of reporting is going to be taxation. We provide the taxation engine, and it works across all 50 states, but the problem is you have to do the remittances yourself. We'll walk you through signing up as a CLEC. We'll walk you through signing up with the FCC for your 499A and Q filings. We'll walk you through getting your COM sales certificate from your different states and municipalities, but it's ultimately up to you to do that reporting and remitting. VoIP taxation is not easy. So I don't recommend it to everybody. It's a real pain in the butt. That's that. See here. As far as features, I do at least want to do the VoIP portal because it is kind of cool. I'm demoing Passport right now. I'm not really in love with it. Yeah, being a CLEC sucks. Chris knows. So this is the VoIP portal. You have contacts here, what's going on. As a person picks up the phone, Noe, do me a favor, call Marissa, please. As a person picks up the phone and calls somebody else and they're on the phone, you can see the status here in real time. And if somebody's on the phone, I don't want to kick me off. If somebody's on the phone, you'll see the actual live call happen here. That's my wife calling someone else, calling Marissa, and that's me on the phone calling my cell phone. Don't kill my cell phone, please. And you actually have call control from here. If I can do that. Thanks, guys. You actually have call control from here, so you can pause the call, transfer the call, do all. So if I wanted to take this call and transfer it to, Michelle, I could do it right there, and it would take the call and send it off. Thanks very much, Noah. You can hang up the call, and you can see the active right here, and you can actually chat with them, which is kind of cool here. We have that call presence. This is the first, yeah, I wasn't kidding about the voice codec changing. This is, and we can hard code it, obviously. We can hard code voice codecs if we have some kind of auto negotiation craziness going on. Before I go too long, Steve, can we go longer if we have to?
Yeah, we can keep it going as long as people are willing to stick around.
Okay, guys, I do it the fluffy way. Gabriel Iglesias, if you've ever been to one of his shows, that dude will sit out till 2 in the morning to sign autographs if people are out there. He's always the last one to leave. So I'm here as long as you guys want me here. I will not skip the Q&A, but I at least want to go over the voice portal. This is the first voice portal I've ever done. I've ever seen that actually users do this stuff themselves, especially when we send a video and say, this is how you go ahead and do call forwarding or whatever. One of the other things we do that's kind of really cool, and yes, we do support conference bridges. We do support auto attendants that are actually absolutely no cost. Conference bridges, yes, there's a per minute cost to it, but the auto attendants, the call queues, the time frames, the music on hold, the custom music on hold per user or per company, it's all included. So we don't do this. If you want to add an auto attendant, it's right here. You pick what option you want it to have, press 9. I want to go to user 1001. And that's all you got to do, and save and go. These auto attendant features, some providers charge extra for. We don't. If you want to have a ring group, this is my live instance, by the way. This is not demo. This is my company. So you can actually see how few calls we get because we're actually pretty darn good at what we do. So let's see here. Let's go over to the users. These are the answering rules. You see how complicated we can get. We can have during holidays, go straight to the after hours. And during business hours, ring a couple extensions. If nobody answers, hit my cell also. I'm probably crazy for putting my cell out there, but anybody that's heard me talk knows I don't hide anything. If nobody answers within the 45 seconds, go to voicemail. If the phones are offline, go directly to my cell phone, because we have 3 internet providers here, but it does happen once or twice. If you want to call forward calls immediately, you hit save and you're done. And now all calls are immediately call forwarded. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. I actually don't mind. It's all good. But you know, it is that easy to change call forwarding or rearrange your call queues. We do support voicemail to email, included at absolutely no cost, which is kind of badass. You know, we can actually do, for those that are in regulated environments, we do voicemail to email as an attachment. If you're in a regulated environment, you know, HIPAA, FERPA, FINRA, FDA, PCI, whatever, we can do voicemail with a link to log in, so they still get the notification by voicemail, and then they get a link that they log in, but they don't get the attachment. Or we can just do plain old notification on the phone, or any combination thereof, which is kind of nice. You know, and you can change your announcements. You can actually manage your call recordings, and if I wanted to record something from my cell phone, I would have it call me and I can record from my cell phone. It helps if they're out of the office and they forget that it's Christmas and they're going to be closed on Monday. We had some customers do that. So it was pretty cool. You can have an operator breakout. You can add additional phones. Steve, this is, okay, yeah, this is fine. You can add phones here. The user can do it themselves. This is not an additional billing item. This is included at no cost. If they wanted to add a second phone, say a cell phone, go ahead and add a cell phone and save it. Noe, please. And that's it. And then they could log in and, you know, they'd have their information right here that they could save to their soft phone. I'm okay with showing that because I can delete it right away, and it'll be something new the next time. So if they wanted to add a hard phone, not hard at all, pick a letter A through Z. Oops. It'll tell you if it's in use or not. And then these are all the phones we support. These are all the phones we support for, we can do 27th, it's just custom, and I'll probably bill you for it, only if it's you, Steve. But these are the phones we support for auto provisioning. If it doesn't support auto provisioning, for example, the Unify VoIP phone that just came out, we can do it manually, and it works. But most of the popular phones are in there. So the voicemail to email giving you a login, it's not really a feature. I don't think it has a name. Let me see, Chris. Let me see if I can show you some, because it's actually on our back end. Let's see here. Yeah, let me get into my demo. So I'll show that to you guys now. But yeah, you do have a few options. Let me get into my OIT demo account. I don't want to show any customer information, so. While I'm doing that, you do have the ability to show call history. Steve, please blur this out during the YouTube one. But you have the ability to show call history, and you can actually click to call any of these numbers, which is really, really, really cool. Get off there real quick. And voicemail. Okay, so here you go. These are the voicemail options. These are actually all the options that we have for voicemail. Send as a hyperlink, send as a brief hyperlink, similar to like a bit.ly kind of thing. Then we can add attachments, and then again, leave as new or saved or trash. Where those end up showing up is, this is an admin portal for the end user. This is what the user sees. Everything I'm showing you here is what the user sees. If they're a manager, if they're a user, this is what they see. These are actual voicemails. I could play these here in the portal. Sorry, Ramon, if you're in the in the chat. You could actually call yourself, forward them, download them, save them if you want to save them. Get your transcription. We do have voicemail transcription as an add-on, It's only like $1 or $2 extra. It's nothing crazy. It is, you can choose which users have it and which don't. It's not perfect, but it's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah, I answered the question before you asked. It's not perfect, but you get the idea of the call. You understand, the gist of it, and you still get the voicemail attachment, so it's good. I use it. I kind of like it. But you have your full portal here, showing you what's going on. Okay. So, and this is actually an example of the voicemail transcription. If you have it, it'll go right in the portal as well, but you get this as an email, which is kind of cool. You can have contacts. These are the same contacts that you saw on the right-hand side, and you can share them with yourselves or make them favorites or whatever, however you'd like. You can set your own personal answering rules. Yeah, it's about the same, Logan. It's about 75% accurate. I think that's pretty fair. You can set your own answering rules. I'll show you what those look like, and the number of features, the number of options. You can set your own if offline, when unanswered. You want to add your own extensions, including some stuff like you want to add 1001, 1002, 1003, and then remember I showed you you can call your cell, and I want to have a delay of 10 seconds or whatever. You can do that all from here, which is kind of cool to have. So, and you can do not disturb and call screening, and if you have multiple time frames or answering rules, you can do that from here too, which is nice. Time frames. Later, Matt. Good having you, man. If you want to add your own time frames, you can. It's very easy to do. You can make them days of the week, specific days. Very easy to add. This is how we do holidays. Days of the week. You can actually make as many as you want, and then split them up if you wanted to, which is kind of cool. This flexibility. There's not a lot of partners out there. Yeah, you said it. There's not a lot of partners out there that have this kind of flexibility. E911 is included. Obviously, we bill for it, but unlike other providers, we can set one E911 per location. So if they're multi-site, we have to set at least one. But unlike other providers, they can still have their individual DIDs if they want. Yeah, we'll get to NFR very quickly. They can still have their individual DIDs if they want, but if they call 911, it's going to come out from the registered E911 address. That way, they're not getting billed E911 for every single DID. It makes it a lot easier, a lot cheaper for the customer. I think it's more fair for everybody. So that's the core features. Obviously, there's many, many more. You can have music on hold that's custom. The phone system comes with its own music on hold. If you're like me and you want to put Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda and Night Court, go for it. So, you can add whatever you want. I don't care. But that's that. So, brass tacks, how much? Well, for the public, we charge $24.50 a seat. If you're a channel partner, you have the ability to drop it down to $19.99 a seat if you want to close the deal. You don't have to ask me. You just fill it out on the form when we provide the quote. That's it. I don't recommend it because at $24.50, we're cheaper than everybody else. Comcast is $29.99 to $39.99 a seat. Birch is $42.50 a seat. Vonage is $29.99 and Ring Central is $39.99 to include the same features that we already have. So we're very, very, very price competitive at $24.50. But if you want to get down to $19.99, go for it. The problem is you're making a percentage off of the total. So if you're going to carve out $5 a month from the customer, you're taking that hit too. That's why I say you don't have to. If you get a bigger deal, 20, 30, 50 seats, if they're a bigger deal, come to me and we'll negotiate price. I have no problem. I'll help you close it. I'm working on one now that's close to 2,000 users with one of the partner programs. And obviously they're getting a significant discount, but it makes sense for everybody. I will work with you to close the deal. It doesn't, I'm going to make sure it works for everybody. Can you set your own price? No, sort of. Yes, you can, Arjan. Sorry if I butchered your name. You can, if you want to set it at a higher price. I have some partners that are coming from somewhere else in the channel partner program, and they say, well, they're already paying $29.99. I want to bill them $29.99 so I can get a higher percentage. We can do that. I can't give you the difference. It makes it a billing nightmare. What I can do is bill them $29.99, and then your percentage is off of that $29.99 a seat. That we can do. Again, communicate it to us ahead of time before we provide the quote, but we can do it. If you're a white label partner, bill whatever you want. I couldn't tell you what my white label partners bill because I don't know. It doesn't go through me. But I know they're very profitable. And we actually have Dan DeMaio in here. He's one of my white label partners. He'll tell you he's making a killing on this stuff. It's very, very profitable. So as far as Canadian pricing for the awesome Canadians, you're going to pay US dollars, but US Canada calling is included. I can port and obtain Canadian DIDs. There's not a lot of other CLECs out there that'll let you do that because the FCC makes it miserable. But we can do that. So as far as reporting, there is significant reporting that you can go ahead and make changes to provide your filters however you'd like. And then when you're done with those filters, you can export it. So you can filter based on unanswered calls. You can filter, you can actually get notifications for unanswered calls. Let's see here, we can do it on the voicemail tab. Let's see. You can actually get notifications on a missed call if you really want to. Sorry about that. So we can come back in and we can let you know when your mailbox is full or when you get a notification after missed call, or you can get it from the call reporting. So it's very, very cool. Besides that, do you guys have any other questions before I get into the NFR pricing for you guys? We'll do the Q&A. I just wanted to make sure that pricing was clear. Channel partner program, real easy. There's no minimums. You send me one deal, you'll make that money on the one deal for the rest of your life. You send me 5, 6, 7, even better, but there's no minimums, no requirements. As far as NFR, I want you guys to use the product. I use the product. I don't sell something I don't use. So I give you NFR. For the MSPs out there, IT providers, anybody in this call, you're going to get it for $16.50 a user, $16.50 a seat. Seats are any extensions that have a phone attached. So extension 1001 has one or more phones, that's $16.50. Your company has 3 people, $16.50 times 3 plus taxes. And that's what you're getting it for. We're giving it to you cheaper than Intermedia with better features and the idea that you're going to go sell it off, which I think works out really great for everybody. For the people here, the promo for the webinar, what I'm going to do is instead of that 1 times MRR upfront spiff for anybody here that signs up as a channel partner before the end of the month, which means in the next 4 days, I'm going to do the HSN special. I'm going to do 2 times MRR upfront. That deal is $245 a month. I'm going to write you a check for $490 for the first 5 deals you sign with me through March 31st. So I give you plenty of time to sign the deals. Most channel partners sign 5 or 6 deals a month, so you can make some crazy money. I have checks that I write out that are $4 and $5 grand a month in residuals only. You can make some significant money. Be smart, do it. And if you're going to do it with a partner that's going to back you. I'm going to make sure you can sell. I'm going to make sure you can make your money. I have absolutely no minimums. VoIP noob, are you referring to minimum seats to sign a partner or minimum seats for an end user? What kind of minimums are you talking about? And the answer is no, regardless. I just want to make sure on this. So no, we have no minimums. I have a few customers that are single operator, that are one end user. I don't care. This is not like MSP. That one user is still profitable to me and to you. It's a little bit of residual. Anybody with TCG as a master agent will tell you, sell that DSL line at $50 a month, make your residual, it adds up. To become a channel partner, there's 0 minimums. I don't care. Sign up today and never sell something, oh well, we'll still be cool. Sign up today and sell something today and don't sell something the rest of the year. For for the next 4 days, we're cool. It doesn't matter. You're still going to collect. There's no minimums. If you're a white label partner, yes, there are some minimums. But again, the investment's a lot higher, so it's a different level of commitment. Beyond that, I want to open it up. I want to thank you guys for your time, and I want to open it up to Q&A, anything I haven't answered so far. What do you guys want to know? No, it's been my pleasure. It's been awesome. Sorry to go so long-winded. 15 minutes extra is not too bad. So any questions, where to sign up? You guys will send me an email to ray@orsinit.com. I put it in the chat. I'll put it here as well. And I will send you a Dropbox link with your with all the channel partner programs, how to sell, how to market it, marketing material, everything. So it's there. Oh, thank you too, man. I want to be able to support you guys 100%. I have a ton of documents to back you up. I have getting started guides. I have these are the getting started guides, what they look like. And these actually go out in the boxes. Your customer's not left out in the cold. You're not left out in the cold. We back you guys up 100%. We make you look really, really, really good. Any other questions? Okay, I think I've answered as many of the start to finish. So onboarding process, very, very, very important, and that's actually one of the things I wanted to cover. We do have, let me see here, I do have a document on how to do the onboarding. So this is what our onboarding document looks like, or our onboarding process looks like. Let's see if I can make it any bigger. The point is, and this is all really automated via ConnectWise. But what'll happen is you'll go and you'll recognize a VoIP customer. You'll identify a good customer for this. In the Dropbox here, you're going to have a form called Request for Quote. And the Request for Quote will look like this. And you're going to fill out some customer information. You're going to fill out some customer information. You're going to fill out, sorry, I had some demo info. You're going to fill out exactly what they need. How many seats, how many premium seats, all the pricing is there. I make everything incredibly transparent. If they need toll-free, if they want voicemail add-on, voicemail transcription add-on, video conferencing, web conferencing, whatever they want, and if they're going to order hardware, it's all here. What phones they want. Just so you know that where the numbers come from, I give it to you at my cost plus 20% plus shipping. It usually is still much less than list. That way you're getting a bit of a discount from me, but you're getting it from somebody that's going to support you 100%. We do have international calling. It varies per, and it's in the Dropbox share as well. We have a 14-page document with the pricing for all of these countries, whether it's mobile or terrestrial or whatever it happens to be. Typically what I tell people, I see internet's unstable, that's not a good sign. Typically what I tell people is if you have a customer that has they inquire about international, ask me specifically what countries, or go to the doc and reference the doc, and it'll tell you the exact pricing. We don't do any bundles with international because it's just too hectic to do. We just do per minute. But at the same time, you can send a phone over there and do extension to extension calling for absolute free, or do it with a SIP soft phone. It's 100% free, so it's all good. So what'll happen is you'll send this document over to me. You'll send it over actually to orders@orsinit.com. It's in here. With any notes for the customer, I will send you a formal quote for the customer, and you will, and within an hour, you'll get a quote back, and you'll either get the customer to sign it, or you'll set up a conference call with me. I make myself 100% available so that we can talk to the customer on a conference call. They can know who they're dealing with, and we can go ahead and close it out, get the deal closed. From then on, our onboarding team takes over. We will call the customer, verify the phone numbers, get a copy of their bill, determine if they want to do advanced activation. Advanced activation would mean we'd send phones to them in advance or to you, and actually set them up with temporary numbers and call forward so they can be on voice over IP from minute one. Some customers prefer that if they're having issues with a legacy system or something like that. Otherwise, the typical process is we do the porting. Porting takes 2 to 3 weeks. Sometime within a week of the porting, we will ship out phones, again, to you or to the customer, whatever is good. We will set up the phones. We will provide temporary numbers, call forward the phones to the temporary numbers, mask the outbound caller ID, so they can use the new phones immediately without any kind of disruption. And the end users, their customers, don't see any difference. And then when the porting happens, it happens automatically. We test, we notify you, or we notify the customer, let the customer cancel their service at that point. It's a very thorough process. We make sure we have all the documentation so that we make sure that your customer gets everything taken care of. We will identify if there's any paging systems that were missed, or door lock systems, or fax machines, or intercom. All of these things we will go through in our discovery process so that if we see something, we can go back to you as the partner and ask and get it resolved. OITVOIP publicly traded? Probably never. Bandwidth suggested is 100K per line, but we do real-time renegotiation, so it can go down to 32K per line or per active call, depending on what's needed. But I tell everybody plan for 100K per simultaneous call. So if you have 10 users, plan on 100K per. So we do the onboarding, and that's basically it. Beyond that, the support post-activation, they can come to us, they can go to you, they can dial 611 from their phones, they can send a carrier pigeon. I don't care. We're here to support them. It's all good. If you have an office extension set to ring your cell phone after X rings, what does the call display on your cell phone? It will display the original phone number, not your office number. And this is true whether you have it forwarded. Good, I'm glad you like it. This is true whether you have it forwarded to a soft phone on your cell phone. We support almost all of the soft phones out there, Bria, Zoiper, X-Lite, whatever, Zoiper Biz, Zoiper Free, Zoiper Communicator. We support all of them, and we have write-ups on how to use all of them. Let's see here. Bria, configure Bria mobile app. So, we have write-ups on how to do all of this, so you can configure it yourself. But it will show the phone number. If you have the soft phone app, obviously you can forward it back. Now, for those that stayed, I'm going to show you some really cool stuff that is not public yet, but is thanks to our friends in Discord. Our friend Jundis, you've seen him on Reddit and on Discord. He built a really cool integration. So I'll get to you in a second, Chris. I did see it. Real cool integration where we have Slack integration. If you want to dial a number from Slack, you can do it right from here. And this is in real time, guys. It'll call your extension, and then it'll forward over to whatever number you've dialed, which is pretty awesome. And you can actually see it here. There's the real call. So if you have Slack and you have ConnectWise, it gets even better. Marissa, I need a ticket number, please. If you have Slack and you have ConnectWise, you can dial a ticket number, and it will call the contact on that ticket number from your service, which is also pretty damn badass. Yeah, Jundis is a beast. He's no joke. And then you can also, pick up your voicemail directly from here, which is kind of cool too. These are free. We're not charging for these integrations. These are brand new. This is being announced in 2017, and this is an ITBOG exclusive. But I think this is pretty awesome. This Slack integration, I've seen exactly one other VoIP company that does it, and nobody does it with Slack and ConnectWise and the phone system. That is OIT VoIP only. So I think it's cool if you guys are using ConnectWise or Slack, and we will build out integrations with some other stuff, but little by little. We're a smaller company, so I pick and choose the battles. Next is going to be a full voice operator panel. One thing I did want to mention: if you have call centers and stuff like that, we have full call center integration. Let's see if I can get one here going. I think this is a call center user. I want to check. No, that's not a call center user. So, those call center metrics that are important for users or for call centers, we have those. API docs, there's an NDA and there's some other stuff, but yes, we do have a full API that works with NetSapiens. That's kind of the point of building, not buying. I have a ton of certificates and a ton of training and a ton of experience. I've done free PBX. I do Elastics when I'm on-prem. I do 3CX sometimes. For on-prem, those are all fantastic products. For a carrier class soft phones, soft switch, and enterprise offering, they don't work. They're not scalable. The minute you have more than 5 or 10 of those systems, they become a nightmare to manage. That's why I didn't build based off that. They're not highly available. Even Schmooz's or Sangoma's iteration of high availability is not perfect. It's not active. So there's a few things that I'm just not thrilled with yet. So it doesn't make it a worthwhile investment for carrier grade. I wanted you guys to be able to offer something that's carrier grade. That's where NetSapiens came out of. Let them do their integrations. We create our custom apps, and it's a win for everybody. I will send a free VoIP phone to anybody that can tell me in the next 15 seconds what show these names are from, because I'm that much of a nerd. 14, 13, 12. Matt DeZern, you are the winner. PM me your address, and I'll send you a Grandstream GXP 2135. Logan, you lost it by 2 seconds, literally, dude. All right, Steve, no problem, man. So good job, guys. I'm glad I'm not the only nerd in the room. So, Marissa, write this down. Matt, DEZERN. We're shipping them out at 2135. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's the VoIP platform. Yeah. Oh, back to Chris's question. Let's see. Thank you for reminding me. I do have the memory of a goldfish sometimes. If the internet line goes down carrying VoIP, can all incoming calls automatically forward to another specified number? Absolutely. So let's log out and get back onto a manager portal. So we have a few levels of high availability and geo redundancy. We do, let's see here. We have 3 data centers: Dallas, Minnesota, or Dallas, Minneapolis, and New York. Your phones are registered to a central border controller. Basically, it's a fancy schmancy proxy server. Calls will hit that depending on your geolocation, depending on call congestion, depending on traffic congestion, depending on usage levels and thresholds. Your phone will register to one of the 3 data centers. There's an algorithm that goes into this. You will not register the same one every time because of latency or whatever else happens to be in the equation. Should the data center burn to the ground, it's never happened in the history of ever, knock on wood. Should it burn to the ground, your phone will register because of a serve record to the next closest data center or the next highly available data center. If you have a phone that supports dual registration, your phone will actually be live on 2 data centers at the same time. We have the ability to hand off a call in real time between data centers without losing the call. I don't know anybody else that can say that, unless you're using something like Starleaf or Big Leaf or one of those SDN or Accessas or one of those. We can do that without any extra hardware. It's pretty damn badass. Now, more realistically, we did have a level 3 DDoS attack in our Dallas data center. We noticed it. What happened was you started getting congestion, no loss of calls, but there were some call quality issues. We monitor this regularly, automatically and manually. What we did is we automatically rerouted calls to New York. Customers' phones re-registered in New York within 60 seconds. Calls kept going. Everybody was good. Problem mitigated until level 3 took care of it. I cannot say, Logan, for reasons I'm sure you understand. Yeah, I know where you're getting with this, Chris. And yes, the answer is yes, but I wanted to do the high level thing, and then I wanted to do the more realistic thing. More realistically, those data centers don't fall down. We're not in data centers, we're in carrier hotels. Carrier hotels are data centers that cater to carriers. It's exactly what it sounds like. The reason this is important to you is because unlike most people that are taking Elastic's free PBX, PBX in the Flash 3CX, and throwing them in a data center that's the cheapest, Hurricane Electric or DigitalOcean or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with them. I use those things for data center tools. But you want the lowest latency to other carriers, to the PSTN, the public switch telephone network. You want lowest latency, you want peering with those others, so that if you have a Comcast customer and they're calling, or you have a VoIP customer and they're on Comcast and they're calling out to the PSTN, you want it going through Comcast, getting to our data center, never leaving Comcast, right? Because the more hops, the more latency, the worse the call quality, the more delay, jitter, packet loss, whatever BS. We account for that. We're in carrier hotels. They're more expensive. I don't do anything but voice. Welcome back. I don't do anything but voice in the carrier hotels, but they're in carrier hotels, so you get the best quality of service possible. This means that, well, you get what it means. So if the voice goes down, what really happens is if your internet fails, right? First call comes in, your internet fails, second call comes in, what happens? Well, you control what happens. That's the actual answer. You come in here and you set, what do I want to happen if my phone is unavailable for whatever reason? And you can set this, and I will have my phone forward to my cell phone. If you're multi-site, have the phone forward to another location. You can have it do to whatever you want. Have it go to a backup POTS line. You can do whatever you want. This is that timer I was telling you about the seconds. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You have complete control of this. You can do it per extension, or the way we do it is we do we forward calls to what's called a call routing user. You can do this per organization or per user or both, any combination you want. As a best practice, and it's actually here as a best practice, create a call routing user. This is exactly how we build a PBX, so you can follow along at home. And our best practices are listed here on the bottom. Okay. We route everything to what's called this call routing user for call control. And this is not, there's no cost to that, obviously. In that call routing user, you determine what to do if the phones are offline or whatever. I got it, Matt. Thank you very much. Give me a second so I can. If I don't do this now, I will forget, so I apologize, guys. Oh, you're local, Matt. Cool. We're in Miami, Florida, so you'll probably receive it before the end of the week. So let's see here. Yeah, Marissa's got that. So you have the ability to control at an organizational or at a user level how to forward the calls. It's completely up to you, and it can be to another extension if they're at another site, or it could be at a cell phone or whatever else you want. The proxy is also geo-redundant. So the proxies via DNS records, it's in all three data centers or carrier hotels. So the proxy doesn't go down, doesn't happen. Everything we build is, when I talk about servers, I'm meaning clusters. When I'm talking about peering, I mean multiple peering. Everything has multiple, it's N by. So multiple 10 gig connections, multiple peers to other carriers, multiple data centers, multiple everything. Remember, guys, I told you I'm an engineer. I'm not a sales guy. So, I can tell you, this is belt, suspenders, and a dude walking behind you holding your pants up. That's the way we do this. Um, Active Directory. Not yet, but it is on my list of things that I think would be really cool to integrate. Um, I'm a ConnectWise house, so everything we build is going to be ConnectWise first. Nice. Absolutely. Anything I say, you're free to repeat. Um, we're a ConnectWise house, so everything we build will be ConnectWise first. I'm already talking with Jundis and some guys on developing. I'd like to be able to do call control, and similar to the way ConnectWise does Active Directory integration with two-way sync with on-prem Active Directory, where you can take LDAP data or Active Directory data, sync it back to ConnectWise. I want to do that with the phone system. When I figure out how to do that with the phone system, then we'll go ahead and do the same thing with Autotask, and then we may or may not do the smaller PSAs, ticketing systems after that. Because we have an API, you want to build something, sign an NDA with me, become a partner with me, I'll work with you on it. Which is, I want to build, you know what I mean? So that's awesome. But we have the ability to do all that stuff. If you have other cool ideas, by all means, send them to me by email, and we'll absolutely, we'll absolutely get you. We'll talk about it because I like integrations. Any other questions, guys? Okay, so Steve, I think that's it. I think I covered everybody. Again,
I think you did too.
not too bad. It's not the longest I've ever talked, so that kind of works out really well. If you have any questions, guys, partner programs, like I said, nothing I do is specific to me. I've worked with them all. If you're selling Nextg, RingCentral, Vonage, because that's your poison of choice, I'm good with it. Call me if you have any questions. I'll help you close that deal. I want you to make the money. Seriously. Anybody that's talked to me on Reddit or Discord or Slack knows I'm 100% genuine when I say that. I will help you close the deal with whatever. I want you to be awesome at whatever you do. But I'll put the stuff in here real quick, the website again and my email again. Anything you need, let me know. The Discord and Slacks community, sure, it's Chris, what is it? IT Pool Party at .slack.com and msp.zone. I'll put them both in there. Guys, both of these are ridiculously awesome. They are the reason I'm in here today. If I wouldn't have joined the IT Pool Party, I would not have met Steve. And honestly, I'm more in Discord today than I am in IT Pool Party, but I'm in both regularly. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have met Steve. I never would have done this webinar. They are an incredibly awesome group of individuals in both communities. You can learn a lot from either one. Just don't listen to Steve because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Sorry, Steve, I had to get one in, man. So,
Well, that's all for Ray, folks.
Nah, Steve's awesome. The communities are great. If you need me, I'm always in those. I don't sleep, so I'm always in one of the communities. My wife's sitting here laughing at me because she knows I really don't sleep. So, guys, thank you very much, and you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. I look forward to talking to you offline.
Thanks so much for doing this, Ray, and I'll have this up on YouTube. Oh, there's so much to edit, but it will probably it'll probably be up by the end of the week for sure. I'm hoping
Awesome.
for the end of tomorrow.
Awesome.